I'm Jason UFC, and today we have a story about UFC President Dana White discuss the possibility of UFC heavyweight champion Jon Jones versus Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar and I have a great relationship. Don't expect to see former UFC heavyweight champion Brock Lesnar returning to the octagon anytime soon, I guess. Last Saturday night in Las Vegas, Jon Jones and Cyril Gahn battled for the vacant heavyweight uh, championship. The title was left vacant after Francis Ngannou left the promotion in January, and Bones Jones wasted no time in his heavyweight debut versus Cyril Gahn at UFC 285. Jones won the vacant UFC heavyweight title by first round submission in about 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Following the bout, the newly crowned heavyweight champion, Jon Jones called out Stipe Miocic. Miocic has been out of action since a knockout loss to Francis Ngannou in March of 2021, almost 2 years, but seemed open to the fight. In fact, the former heavyweight champion, Stipe Miocic, has revealed that the UFC has already informed him he will fight for the title in July of 2023. The UFC is currently targeting Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic for International Fight Week in July. However, some fight fans have been pondering if Brock Lesnar could face Bones Jones instead. Over the last few weeks, there have been rumors that the WWE could be closing out his time with the wrestling company. They always say that. It also helps matters that Jones previously called out Brock Lesnar in 2017, 6 years ago, following his knockout win over Daniel Cormier. The legend called out the former heavyweight champion. Brock Lesnar publicly showed interest in the bout, but it never came to fruition due to Jon Jones not being in heavyweight division. Sadly, UFC President Dana White has now shut down those plans. In an interview with The Spun, the promoter Dana White discussed the possibility of the fight between Jon Jones and Brock Lesnar. White stated that the bout likely won't happen as he believes Brock Lesnar is done as a MMA fighter. Brock and I have a great relationship, and we always have, Dana White stated in the interview, discussing Brock Lesnar possible return. But I don't think Brock. Dana says this all the time, but I don't think Brock wants to fight anymore. Brock made a lot of money. He came into the UFC and he won the heavyweight title. He continues. He's got nothing left to prove. I don't think he want to do it. Oh, okay, that's it. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean that is interesting. I'm a little bit surprised that they're not talking about maybe Daniel Cormier coming back. I doubt that would happen because, Cormier definitely still has a lot of heat with Jon Jones in the heavyweight division. So the possibility of that dropping, but I still think there would be a little bit of inkling that the UFC would like Brock Lesnar. This is kind of the way, I don't know Dana White personally, but it is a way for Dana White to get fighters to take fights when he says, he doesn't think or that Brock Lesnar made a lot of money. He says this about like Conor McGregor. He says this about like GSP. The fighters made a lot of money. They have nothing left to prove. There's no. So I wouldn't be surprised. Let's just really, 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 really be honest. The heavyweight division is kind of thin, to say the least, right? Excuse the pun, but the heavyweight division is kind of thin. People would love to see Jon Jones versus Brock Lesnar. Like, that is a complete wild card. I know there's a lot of attention now headed towards the heavyweight division because people want to see who could Jon Jones defeat and who could defeat Jon Jones. And a lot of people, are looking at names like Tom Aspinall, Sergey Pavlovich, Curtis Blades, Stipe Miocic. I think Volkanov just won. So there's a few names in the heavyweight division that we would like to see. Obviously, Francis Ngannou, if he ever comes back to the UFC, I don't think that would happen. But there's a few names in heavyweight division that people would like to see. But obviously, the wild card, and to say the least, the one that would generate the most money even over Stipe Miocic would be Brock Lesnar versus Jon Jones. Now, if we talk about Brock Lesnar's record, I don't know if he's on a win streak. I thought his last fight was versus Mark Hunt. I don't know that for sure. I don't know that for sure. I thought Brock Lesnar's last fight in the UFC was versus Mark Hunt. I don't know for sure, but that may have been his last fight, And, the UFC could kind of justify if Brock Lesnar came back giving him a title fight. I mean, they could justify anything at any point, but I would be a little bit shocked if, let's say Jon Jones defeats Stipe Miocic and then, the fight after that would be versus Brock Lesnar. I really doubt that because you have a number one contenders fight with Sergey Pavlovich versus Curtis Blades. I think the winner of that fight will get the winner of Jon Jones and Stipe Miocic. But if we have, something going on with those two not being impressive, I would not doubt the possibility of Jon Jones versus Brock Lesnar if Jon Jones walks through, Stipe Miocic in July, and then people look around and say, okay, who's next? So I would say, less than 10% chance because, like I said, there's a few heavyweights in heavyweight division that Jon Jones could face. First being the winner of Pavlovich and Blades. The winner of that will clearly be the number one contender. I don't think they're going to just let Brock Lesnar just walk in and, take their title shot. But yeah, let me know your opinion of this idea. Who would you want to see Jon Jones face? Is it Miocic? Is it Lesnar? Is it Blades? Is it Aspinall? Is it Pavlovich? That's just 5 names right there that, could be really, really good fights for Jon Jones in the heavyweight division. Personally, I want to see the fight versus Miocic. I would like to see the fight versus the winner of Pavlovich and Blades fight, maybe Jones. And then maybe, also Tom Aspinall. Maybe Tom Aspinall comes back. He's going to be out for a while, but Tom Aspinall maybe later on next year, if he can get a title fight, if he can get back on a winning streak, I would like to see him fight Jon Jones. But there's a few names in the heavyweight division. It's definitely going to get a little bit more exciting than